From Montana's news leader, this is the MTN Noon News.
Good afternoon and thanks for joining us on the Noon News. I'm Andrea Lutz in for Diane Parker. Some colder temperatures are setting their way into Montana this weekend. Our Miller Robson will have the very latest on the weather, but first. This afternoon in northwest Montana, people continue to dig out of a massive snowstorm that dumped over 6 inches in some parts of the Flathead Valley, and now an emergency shelter has been set up to help those displaced by the snow. Thousands were left without power as crews work to turn the lights back on for residents. South Kalispell Fire says that their team of volunteers is working throughout the night, responding to 29 calls for aid. They usually have an average of just 1 a day. Flathead County requested assistance from the American Red Cross to open that emergency shelter for people affected by the extended power outages.
Some people may need to be prepared to be without power throughout the weekend, so whether you need to lay in extra food or infant formula or pet food for your family, or whether you need to go to another person's house that does have heat, we encourage you to prepare for the possibility that this could be an extended outage.
The emergency shelter is located at the Flathead County Fairgrounds in the 4-H building, and they are accepting dogs and cats. The number of RSV cases is at a 2-year high. The CDC says RSV is twice as high among people of all ages compared to last year. The Department of Health and Human Services says 76% of 40,000 pediatric beds are filled with patients. Some states are near capacity, and doctors say the surge among kids could be due to the pandemic. There's a challenge to a new Montana law that says insurance companies can set their rates based on your gender and if you're married. A lawsuit was filed in Lewis and Clark County, and attorneys say it violates Montana's constitution, which bans discrimination based on sex. Supporters say it allows companies to use data when assessing a customer's risk. It seems Missoula and Bozeman are the top destinations for out-of-staters to move to. New data showing fewer people are moving to Billings than any other Montana city. The Move Buddha report analyzes Google searches, census data, and home values. But just last year, Billings topped that list. Now it's Missoula and Bozeman coming in second. Overall, Montana ranks 4th in the U.S. for moves in versus moves out. Fried chicken lovers rejoice. The wait is finally over as Montana's second Chick-fil-A franchise will open next week. It's announcing that Missoula restaurant will officially open its doors on Thursday, November 10th. It's located on North Reserve Street. It's the second one. The first was in Kalispell, and currently there's one under construction in Billings. Those at the restaurant say they're expecting a high demand as they do open.
Happy Friday, everybody, and TGIF boom as we cruise on into the weekend. A couple of stories today. Very windy, especially as you get on the eastern side of the mountains across the plains. Very windy today through tomorrow, so just keep that in mind. Also, trying to get a little warmer today. Now, some of us still may be stuck in the 30s, but you will see some 40s and 50s as you move west to east down in northern parts of Wyoming as well. Heavy mountain snow today through tomorrow on the Beartooth, the Absarokas down there in the Yellowstone National Park area. Sunday going to calm down in terms of the snow and the rain, and then next week a big old whammy comes into the area. You can just see it coming in out of the corner of your screen. Very cold behind that with a chance at lower elevation snow and mountain snow. We'll take a look at that with the main forecast coming up here in just a bit.
This afternoon, new information on sex assault allegations coming from Montana State University. Several students say the attacks happened at a weekend party at a fraternity. MTN's Edgar Cedillo tells us how the university is responding.
Following Halloween weekend, Montana State University notified students of multiple reports of sexual misconduct that took place over the weekend.
I was surprised and disappointed. Just because I've been out to the frats before and I haven't personally seen anything like that happen.
Yeah, I actually just read it in my last class. Honestly, I wasn't very surprised.
Reaction among students has been mixed about the news. Many of them say that things like this take place throughout the year.
I have heard about it going on before. More within the first month of school, if I hear anything at all about it.
In an email sent to students Thursday morning, students were notified of the misconduct that took place at parties over the weekend. In the email, the university reminds students of the safety risk at parties, that being drunk is not an excuse for sexual assault. The email also went on to say that forcing sexual contact with someone who is passed out because of drugs or alcohol is not able to give consent and is against the law.
Through the use of a timely warning email of sexual violence and sexual misconduct that was reported at a number of social gatherings that happened over the Halloween weekend.
The university did not comment on how many reports they received or where the reports came from.
These incidents are under investigation with our Office of Institutional Equity and the University Police Department.
The last fraternity to be sanctioned at Montana State was Sigma Alpha Epsilon back in 2018. They were sanctioned for 3 years. Right now, it's unclear if any disciplinary action will be brought forward.
It's premature to talk about sanctions against any particular fraternity houses or any particular organizations or students.
Students say they remain cautious when they go out.
If we're going out together, we all stay together and we don't go off with somebody by ourselves.
MSU says if you have any information to call MSU PD or the Office of Institutional Equity. At Montana State University, Edgar Cedillo, MTN News.